Hooray! Okay, let's start again. So, thank you for coming along to my final Facebook Live session for the year for 2024. It's Paula from On a String, and I really appreciate you coming along today and having a look at what I'm doing here. I've got 4 new Christmas designs to show you today, which I'm really excited about. I've been prepping all week for doing these. And there'll also be a free tutorial for members of the On a String VIP group, which is a winter Christmas snowflake earring tutorial I've created for you as well. And I'm really excited to launch the Facebook Live calendar for 2025 as well. Thanks to all those people who made some comments and gave me some suggestions for ideas. And I've booked in all of my suppliers for next year. So there's 6 design on the flies booked, and then 5 other sessions around different things that people have asked for. So really excited to share that with you later today. But today is all about Christmas. So I'm thrilled to go through some of my Christmas projects with you and show you different things that I've been making. So let's flip down to the work camera and go through some of those things and see exactly what it is. It's all about Christmas. So today I'm going to show you some earrings. So one of those is a really simple earring project. So simple is this use of metal charms, and metal charms are fantastic. You can buy them from places like AliExpress and Temu, but you get 100 different metal charms in a pack. So there's lots of different ways to use those, and I'll show you a couple of those today. So that's one design we're going to be having a look at. Another fun one is again the use of these metal charms, but creating a a right angle weave cabochon, sorry, get my words correct, and a little loop, and attaching the charm to the base of that loop. So I will demonstrate those with you today. So I only have one of each of these earrings at the moment, so I will be making the second one. The third pair that I'm going to show you today is this little tiny Christmas tree earring. So really fun way to use brick stitch and some just coloured cup chain, a little tiny star, really cute earring design, this one. So I'm really happy with this, and I'll demonstrate this one later today as well. And then last but not least is this fabulous bauble. Now have a look at this for a bauble. This is a rainbow Christmas bauble. Just one of my baubles that I grabbed out of the Christmas decoration box, and I have beaded this in a rainbow of colours. So I'm really pleased with this one, and I will show you this one later today as well. I'll make a second one, so I probably will need to think about writing this one up as a tutorial because I think it's really cute, the rainbow bauble. The other thing that will be the gift to the On a String VIPs is this little tutorial for a pair of snowflake earrings. So using a gorgeous, it's called a West German flower press bead, and I'll put the link into where to get those from Nez at the Bead Nerd, and just adding some little Christmas charms on there as well. So you could make this just as a component without the charm if you needed to too, but I will put a tutorial for the On a String VIPs there as well. So let's get started. So before I go into today's projects, I thought I'd actually just show you some of the other Christmas type things that I've done over the years. So Christmas projects are a really fun way just to demonstrate beading and show different ways of doing beading. So the first one I've got there is my Christmas bell tutorial, and that uses an espresso coffee pod as the base and has a little bell inside. The second one there is my Christmas carrier beads earring set. Use those to make lots of decorations. The third one I'd show you is another way to use the metal charm. So I use these acrylic backs, whether they're trees or stars or reeds, and add those. The next one there is my latest Christmas cuff, and it's called Oh Christmas Tree, a class I recently taught at the Bead Society. That'll be a tutorial available shortly. There's also then the snowflake earrings as well that I've just shown there. And then last but not least, I thought, how can not have Christmas without the Christmas tree with the stars on it? And then, of course, some winter snowflakes and stars that I demonstrated earlier this year. So the links for some of those tutorials are in the pinned comments at the top there. And let's get started and think about making some earrings and Christmas projects. Okay, let's go back to my work and we'll see that. So it's really exciting to have you all here today to join with me in this fantastic Christmas demonstration. So Christmas shows lots of different earrings, and let's start with these very simple ones, which are just a matter of doing a little bit of fringing, metal charm and a hook. So these are ones you can make in an instant and wear them very, very quickly. So metal charms, as I said, I grab a lot of these sort of things from places like Temu and AliExpress, and there's lots of different, sort of Santa ones and snowflake ones, etc. So I'll show you all of those different ones here. Let me just know you can see the work scene. Yep, great. Okay, so little Christmas charms are fantastic just for decorating lots of different things. So I like to use these, as I said, in things like earrings, to make Christmas decorations. You can, there's lots of different types too, little reindeers, Noels, lots of different other things to use in there as well. But we're going to make just a really simple pair of little snowflake earrings. So when you buy those charms, as I said, they come in a pack of about 100, and there are no pairs in that pack. They are all the same. All different. So because I've bought multiple pairs, multiple packs, I'm able to make pairs, which is good, which is why we've got 2 snowflakes here. Some of my other earrings, particularly the ones I do in the acrylic area, are all different, mismatched. So that's a fun thing to have at Christmas time too, is to have a little bit of a mismatched look. But if you do have multiple packs of them, I'm just trying to find a needle that I can thread easily. If you do have multiple packs, you can match them up and make a pair out of them, which is what I'm doing here. I made some last week for my my granddaughter to give to her teacher, so she had some reindeers and Christmas trees in this design as well. So really, really simple way of making these earrings. I've got my metal charm, I've got the hook. I just need a few little beads. So I've got, where are my beads that I prepared earlier? I've got some just little crystals and 4mm beads, and this is that fringing technique you will have seen me do quite a few times. It's one of my favorite and easiest techniques to do. I need some size 11 beads, I need some size 15 beads, and I'm just using the Duracoat champagne color with this, so it's a little bit of a soft gold color. The first thing I'll do is I'll just grab my pliers, and I'm just going to attach the ear wire straight onto that metal charm so that that's in place already. So just open up the ring on the ear wire and just close that up there. So that's attached already. I mean, that's a nice, really simple earring easily, but at least now I can start to bead on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go from the front through to the back of my earring hole there on that metal charm, pick up a size 11 bead and just come back through that hole, and that gives me that stop bead just to have some sort of anchor. I'll just make that tail a bit bigger that it's easier to grab, and just anchor my bead like that there. Now what I want to do is just pop a little bit of fringe on there, and usually 6 or 7 beads is enough. So I've just grabbed, some little matching round beads here and a couple of 4mm bicones. So I pick up a size 11 bead, a bicone, and then the size 15 bead. Bring that down, skip over the size 15 and go back through the 11 and the bicone there, through the hole and through to the back of the earring. And then just come back through that little anchor bead again that's on the back, and then come back through to the front. So I'm just going to repeat that to add on in a random pattern those little fringed beads. So the little fringing is a great way just to add some decoration. My whole motto whenever I do anything in using, some sort of component in my beading is just add beads. Just add beads to it and it just gives it that little bit extra flair. So again, just repeat that pattern. So 6 beads, as I said, is enough to pop on to make that really simple pair of earrings. And these are, things where you've got a few leftover beads from a kit or something like that, not enough to make a big project or anything out of, and you don't necessarily want to buy any more. You can use beads like that in fringing. It's a really good way to use up those extras. So I'll just keep adding all of that on. Exactly, Penny. Good gift for a teacher. Nice to see you here as well. And that's exactly what it was. My granddaughter gave a pair to each of her teachers for her end of year. So nice fun earrings that no other teacher will have exactly the same ones, because making them with these sort of random charms and different techniques of fringing, never exactly the same, it means that they're a really unique pair. So I'll just keep adding those through. So again, I'm going all the way through to the back of that earring, going through that anchor bead at the back there. So it's really nice and secure. I'll be able to just trim off that tail thread in a moment. And there's a little size 3mm there as well. Pop that on. And this is one earring complete. So you can see how quick and easy that is just to make that little pair of fringed earrings. So just sort of maneuver the earring wire so that's hanging from the top there. One of the ways just to secure that is just to go back through a couple of times, through that that anchor bead at the back. And I just like to do a couple of little half hitch knots there. And then I'm just going to end off the working thread and the tail thread, and that earring is complete. So to end that, I'll just get my thread burner, take that off, take off that tail thread, and I just used my standard 6-pound fire line to do that. And here we go. Here's a little pair of snowflake earrings. Really quick and easy project to do. So if you've got some of those metal charms, get on and make some of those earrings. So there's project number 1 out of the way. Okay. The next one that I want to show you is this concept of making a cabochon using a right angle weave frame, and then just attaching that little charm at the bottom. And I've attached that in a different way, so I'll show you how I've done that one as well. Really, really nice classic look with that pearl. And again, this capture method, if you don't want to have a charm on the bottom, it creates a really nice earring in its own right anyway. So what I'm using here is some size 11 beads in the same color, in that rosy gold or champagne gold color. And I've also got a little pearl, and where have I put my size 11 pearls? Somewhere. There they are. A little pearl based color as well. There's a couple of the size 11 Duracoat champagnes in there too. Oh, sorry, 8s. I know they're in there as well. And some size 15. So they're all the sorts of beads that we're going to use in this project today. So the colours that I've got here are all the Duracoat galvanised champagne, and this literally an old one, random pearl coloured size 11s that were just out of the drawer there today. What I'm using as the central focal is one of these little 14mm pearl cabochons. It's got the flat back on it and just that sort of domed top as well. And I've shown this trick a couple of times, but a really good way, if you don't know the size of your cabochon, is to grab one of these rulers, stencil ruler that has all the circles on it. And I know this is a size 14, but I can just pop that straight through the size 14 hole there, and I know that that's exactly the right size bead. If I try and put it in a 12, it won't go in there. So really quick, easy way to measure your bead or round bead sizes is one of those rulers. Okay, I'm going to do a longer thread because that one's a bit short. So again, I'm going to use some fire line, and this is the 6 pound crystal fire line that I'm using here. And I'm going to create a really simple right angle weave strip. And I know that this strip needs to be 16 unit. So you're going to have to bear with me while I actually do this, but it's pleasant to watch because right angle weave is one of those really good counting stitches. I really like it for the continuity of counting all the time with it. So I need some size 11 champagne beads and some size 11 pearl beads. And I'm just going to make that little band that sits around the outside of that earring there. So to start, I'm just picking up 4 beads in alternating colours. So cream, gold, cream and gold. And then I'm just going to bring my needle through all of those beads again and come back through that first bead just to sort of lock that in place. Now I'll have to just check what pattern I did there. Okay, so I have my cream bead going across the center that way. So I'll just flip so that I'm coming out there. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the next unit. So I pick up a gold, a cream and a gold and go back through that first cream bead added, and then just bring my needle back throughout the next cream bead like that and repeat that again. So this is adding units in right angle weave like that. So keep adding my units. So I need 16 units to go around a 14 mil pearl cabochon. 1, 2, 3, and I've just got to remember that there's one cream already because it's from the previous unit, so I only need to add 3 beads each time. So this right angle weave is a really nice flexible way to capture around a cabochon. It's a bit loose to start with, but you can tighten it up by putting doing a peyote edge with a second round of beads, which is what we'll actually do when we've closed the ring on this. So nice simple way to capture a cab in a really flexible format. Gives you a lot of forgiveness in terms of getting it around your cab and the tight and fit. So it can be you can have a little bit more looseness in it, which you can tighten up later. So it's not as precise, say, as when you're doing a peyote capture and you need to have it exactly. This is a little bit more forgiving. I like this method because it gives you a really thin way of capturing your cab as well, and it also means that you can build off the open weave of the right angle weave to add other features on. So really nice. Perfect for a flat back. Penny, for your clip-on earrings. I am going to remove my big ring because it just keeps getting caught. Yeah, perfect. This is a really fun technique. You could also turn this into a stud earring if you wanted to as well, by gluing a stud onto the back of your cabochon. So I have done that very similar with this sort of technique before too. So learning how to capture cabs in lots of different methods just gives you variety in the way that you bead, and enables you to build on designs and use this sort of component style beading in other things. You could make a whole strip of these little cabs and join them. In fact, I've got a new project I'm going to be teaching next year that does a very similar technique with this. So right angle weave, and you can see there it's a bit loose there, but it's okay. It will actually tighten up as we go around. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, a few more to go. So I need 16, which means I need to do 15 and then join the 16th one back in the ring. So I will show that in a moment. So I'll keep just building my little sides here. So you excited to see the bauble and the Christmas tree? I'm leaving the best to last, but the bauble I'm really thrilled with. I'd never made a beaded bauble until last year, and I know they've been around a very long time, but it was just something I had never done. And I did a couple for my Christmas beading challenge that I did last year, and I'll show those because I've got them in front of me here. But this year I thought, oh, I'm going to do a different coloured one. So the pastel rainbow colour of the bauble, I think, is really nice. Not traditional. Now look, I've just made a mistake there because I'm talking too much. You can see there I've added 3 cream instead of a gold. So I'll just undo that last unit and repeat that. So yes, mistakes happen in beading all the time. When I was practicing and getting ready for this the other night, and I did bead until very late in the night to get it finished, I got to like 12:30. I thought I have to go to bed now because I've made several mistakes on this project. So yes, it does happen, warts and all with me. Okay, let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. One more, and then I'm going to join them. So joining them, I want to make sure that I keep the right angle weave strip as flat and not twist it. So it's really easy just to wind around your finger like that. Finger's just the right size for it. I'm going to come up through the cream bead again, but this time I'm only going to be adding the 2 gold beads because the other cream bead is from the very start of my piece on the other side. So I haven't moved that strip, it's just flat sitting around my finger there. I grab a size 11 gold bead, go through the cream bead like that, just there, and then go through the cream bead again over here. So there you go, there's my nice ring. Now it's loose, but it's okay because we are going to tighten that up. So one of the ways to tighten that now is to use the little up beads from the right angle weave as a peyote base. So I'm going to come up through the gold bead just here. Got to check what color I added. I added cream bead. So I'm now just going to add a cream bead in between each of the up beads that are here on the ring. So this is one really easy way to turn a right angle weave base into peyote because I'm using those up beads now in a peyote method. So just by going through each of those up beads. Now while I'm just doing this, I'm going to show you watch out for those next year. Okay, now I've gone through each of the size 11 beads and added that 11 here. Now this will be the front of my piece, so I'm just going to do a size 15 bead now in peyote as well. So I'll just do a second round with the size 15 beads, and that calendar will be scheduled and up on the On a String VIPs group shortly, along with I will start to schedule some of these within Facebook as well, so you can always click that you're interested when you see them as a live event coming up, and that way it just pops up in your feed. But generally the second Saturday of the month is when I will be doing those. There's a whole lot of new things planned for next year for On a String, including some Zoom workshops with one of my bead stores, and some Zoom workshops by On a String, and some in-person workshops by On a String as well. So look out for those next year. It's always refreshing to at this time of the year to do some planning for what work is going to be like for next year for me. And I shouldn't say work because it's not work. I love it. I love doing this and sharing it, and I hope you enjoy that too. Okay, so I'm nearly finished that round here. And I remember I started with 16 beads, which is important to note because for when we do the back, it's good to have an even number. Okay, so I'm just pulling that tight so that that becomes a really good capture for my cab. And you can see that looseness that was there before has pretty much disappeared by doing that row of peyote on there, or 2 rows. So I'm just going to pop that cab right in the center like that. And you can see there it's nice and flat, sits really good in there. Now I just want to capture over the back of that. So I'll pop it out now, I just don't need it in there just for right now. So I'm going to bring my needle back up through to that size 11 and do another row of peyote on the opposite side. So I'll remove that tail thread shortly. I'll be able to just snip that off. So again, the cream row of peyote on there. So tell me, what are other people making for Christmas beading? Pop some either images in the comments, or let me know what are some of the other things that you're doing for beading this year. I'm really interested to see what other people actually bead as well. Are you doing stars? Are you doing baubles, Christmas earrings, table decorations? There's lots of fun things that we can bead at Christmas time. And it doesn't always have to be traditional beading, traditional Christmas colours as well, which I think my bauble is a perfect example of that. So it's fun just to create really nice gifts for people as well. I gave all of my work colleagues a pair of my acrylic Christmas charm earrings last week, so it was lovely. We had a work function and everybody had on an on a string pair of earrings, and I worked with like 18 girls, so it was really nice to see them all wearing those earrings. Okay, there's my first row then done. So I'm just going to pop my cab back in there now, and so we can start to tighten up over the edge. So just sort of hold it in place there with my thumb. Draw that tight so it starts to tighten up over the cabochon. Okay, now remember I said I had 16 beads, so that's the critical part. That's the counting part to actually capture the back of this piece really neatly. So what I'm going to do is just grab out some size 8 beads, and I only need a few here. And I'm just going to come up through one bead, and then I'm going to pick up a gold, cream, size 8, cream and gold, and I'm going to skip over 1, 2, 3 and go through the 4th of those up beads just at the back there. Just like that, and it just creates that nice little wall that's starting to come over the edge of that cab. So repeat that again. So gold, cream, 8, cream, gold, and then 1, 2, 3 and through the 4th bead on the up beads there. So now when I draw that even tighter, it will settle once I get all 4 sides on. It'll hold it. I need some more of them, so I need a gold, cream, size 8, cream, gold, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 3 sides done. I think that's my husband blowing the garden, or maybe it's somebody else. Annoying. Gold, cream, size 8. Oh, just dropped off. Cream and 11. Okay, so I'm coming back to the first size 11 that I came out of when I added this. And when I pull that nice and tight, You can see there that's just going to hold that cab in place. Just sort of maneuver it. There we go. The cab's held in place there now. So there's the front. It's got that nice little capture across the front. And there's the back. Okay, now, because these cabs have this sort of yucky hole thing on the back of them, I want to actually cover that. So I'm really just going to be decorative now because it is holding in place, but I do want to make sure that it's secure by covering in the back. So what I'm going to do is come out of the size 8 bead there and just go across to the next size 8. So I'm going to pick up a gold, cream and gold. I think that's what I've done. Yep. And go through the next size 8 bead there on that angle. And what that does, it also helps tighten up that back, but it just fills in the back of the earring as well. So repeat that again. So gold, cream and gold. Go back through the next size 8 bead over there. Repeat that again. Gold, cream and gold. Through the next size 8. And then gold, cream and gold. And then through that size, the very first size 8 bead. Pull that tight. You can see there I've now got, you know, a bit of a fill on the back of my earring there. But just to tidy it up one more step, I'm going to come up through the center cream bead just there. And I'm just going to add now gold. I think that's what I've done. I'm just checking what I did on the other one. Yep. Add one gold bead, and then I'm going to come up through that next cream bead on the opposite next little branch. Just undo that little tail knot that's happened there. So what I'm doing is just covering in the back of this earring really nicely. So pick up another gold, go through the cream, and this is just a simple netting technique to back this. So pick up the gold again, go through the cream, and then one final gold and through that final cream. There it is. Really simple, easy way just to cover the back there of that cabochon. So it looks really nice, it's neat, and we've got a nice front here as well. So I'm just going to trim off that tail because that's annoying me. And then we're going to add a little loop for the hook. And then I'm going to show you the way that I actually added the little snowflake at the bottom of this as well. Okay, I'm going to bring my thread up to the top of the earring. It doesn't really matter where the top is for now because as long as I do the bottom in the direct opposite, it's fine. So the top bead is coming out of, sorry, the hook is coming out of one of the very first rows, gold beads that I added at the front. So it's the row before the peyote is where I'm going to add that loop. So what I'm going to do is just make a real little tiny loop out of 7 size 15 beads. Get the ones that are all scattered all over my board before I put any more out. A few more. There's 7 size 15 beads, and then just go back through that size 11 bead. And I'm just going to go through that a couple of times. Really simple loop for the top of your earring just to add the hook onto. So as I said, this makes a nice drop if you wanted to just make these as drops without the charm or dangle. And you could put any sort of dangle on the bottom of it. But it's a really nice little way just to create a simple drop earring as well. Or would make a lovely stud with a stud on that flat back too. Okay, now to add the charm, I need to go to the direct opposite side. So I need to come out of the gold one right here down at the bottom. So I'm just going to move my needle to come down through there. So just follow the thread path through here. till I get to the okay, which one is it? Next one. Okay, now I'm going to make exactly the same loop at the opposite side. And the reason that I'm doing it this way, I mean, you could use jump rings, and the snowflake pattern that will be available later today does use jump rings to join it. But I tried this method for this particular one because I didn't want to have too much dangle. It doesn't really make sense when I say it like that. But I really just wanted to have something that was a little bit classier, I suppose, than just the jump ring. So I'm just going to go through all those beads again just to tighten that loop. But it's a nice way just to use a bead as well to add on to this decoration. So there's my little loop there. So either one of those could be for the earring wire to hang out of. What I'm going to do is just grab, I've got a little 4mm pearl here, and I've got my charm. Now the charms come with holes, you know, in this particular orientation. So if I wanted to do a jump ring, I needed to do one ring and then another ring to be able to join that together. And I wanted to make it a little bit neater. So I've created that loop there. And what I'm going to do is thread through that loop. So the beaded loop that I've just made, thread through my metal charm, put a stop bead on the back of it, like what I've done with the fringed earrings, come back through both the metal charm and the loop, and then I've just got my little 4mm pearl there, pop a size 15 bead on the top of that, like that. Just flip that around the right way. Go back through the 4mm, through the loop and through the metal loop, and then the anchor bead. And what happens is, I've just missed something there. I missed going through my beaded loop. Sorry, let me just come back. Go back through my beaded loop and back through the metal loop there. Now when I pull that nice and tight, it just sits on top of the hole like that. So I think it's a really nice, neat way just to finish off that little crystal charm, metal charm there. Go back through my anchor bead again, and then back through all of those beads, just, you know, one or two more times just to secure. So really nice, easy way to add that metal charm. It doesn't really dangle now because I've tightened it by going through a couple of times, so it's not moving around, but the beaded loop and the metal loop just sit on top of one another, and then the 4mm pearl on the top just holds it all in place. So I'm just getting my needle to go through that 4mm again. Yep, there it is. Through the metal and through the beaded loop and the metal loop, sitting it on top like that. You can see there it's nice and secure. So I'll come back through to the back again, and then just run my needle through a couple of times through that anchor bead. Finish off my thread. Add an ear wire through the loop at the top, and look at that. A really nice, charming little pair of snowflake and pearl earrings. So simple, great technique. Exactly, Anita. I think this is a really nice technique to add anything. You can use, you know, snowflakes for Christmas, or, you know, winter charms type thing, but any other sort of drop bead would look really nice. But I like this technique of adding the pearl at the top of it, and it just finishes off without that sort of too many jump beads, jump rings. So that's earrings 1 and 2 completed. Which, what's that? 11:43. That's pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with those two. I've got a bit of a theme there with colours, very muted and wintry whites. But the next pair are completely different. So let me move some of these beads out of the way. And let's get into the Christmas earrings. So the Christmas tree earrings. The design that I came up from these, it sort of evolved from my Christmas tree cuff bracelet designs, which I taught for the Bead Society of Victoria a couple of weeks ago. And the Christmas tree cuff is, I think I've talked about this one before. This was one of my very, very first beading projects I ever did, 15, 20 years ago, maybe, long time ago. And when I made my Christmas tree cuff, my first one, I'll just get it and show you. It's, I look at this now and I think, oh, pretty horrible beading. I used some crappy beads and not really great techniques. If I look at the back of it, I can see that some of my trees are different sizes and I've made mistakes over here. And anyway, that's one of my very original projects. But I rejigged that and I've made a couple of new ones. So this is a wider design one in an odd count peyote, and I have some beautiful symmetrically designed trees on here. And then here's my lovely green one that I did, and this was a class that I taught for the Bead Society. So these little trees that are within it, this is all done on peyote, but you can create the same tree with a brick stitch, which is what I'm going to be doing. So my little Christmas tree brick stitch earring looks like this. And to finish it off, I've put some really fun coloured cup chain on the top, but you could decorate this with anything like the Christmas tree cuffs that have loads of different decorating ideas, or you could just use some really simple coloured cup chain like I did with this. I made a little trunk using a nib bead, and I also used a little tiny star at the top, which was a star that I'd gotten from a Swarovski grab bag many years ago. But you don't have to actually use the star. You could design something else, do a little, maybe a teacup bead would work really well. So lots of different things can work, and these really can be your very own design. So I'm just going to grab my beads for that one as well. And again, look what you need, not very much to make this pair of earrings. So I'm going to do some brick stitch technique with these hex beads. So these hex beads are old again, out of my stash, and I love being able to use things that I've already got. I don't necessarily have to buy anything new. So these are probably a size 8, I would say, hex bead. And a hex bead means that they've got 6 sides on them, like a hexagon. And I'm just going to do a really simple brick stitch frame for these. So these ones, I'll just start with 2 beads, just go through them again and come back through. So there's my start with the 2 beads, my little ladder, and just add on a bead. And I did these ones as 10 across, so you'll have to bear with me while I do the brick stitch part of this, but that's the fun bit for decorating. So Rosemary has got sleepovers and you're making teacher earrings. That's fantastic. You could use these designs, Rosemary, and make teacher earrings with those. I think it's a fun gift to give Christmas earrings. Everybody enjoys wearing them at this time of the year. And these Christmas tree ones, these are a really nice, unique pair that you can make your own by decorating like any of the Christmas tree cuffs that I have on there, or you could use some coloured cup chain like I've got here. So I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and again you could make these as wide as you want. You could use different beads as the base for your brick stitch. One of the reasons I like these hex beads and the size 8 one, they have a nice big hole, so they're really easy to bead through and to decorate. But little cube beads would work really well as well, triangle beads, so really great bead. And because they've got that different profile on them, they give you something else to anchor your needle into as you bead into it. So I'm going to start my next row of brick stitch. So I'm coming back through to the other side here. And when you brick stitch and you add on your first 2 beads, often the first bead here can be a little bit wonky. But what I like to do is just go through that first thread bridge that's there between the beads. Just add a little half-inch knot on that thread there. So I'm actually starting out of the thread bridge rather than out of the hole of the bead there. And that helps to stop that end bead lifting. So I'm going to skip over and go through, I've picked up 2 beads, skip over and go through the next thread bridge and come back up through my bead like that. And when I just sort of maneuver them in and hold them tight, you can see there that bead is now not lifting off the edge as well. So just keep adding on. So this next row is only 9 because we want to get that nice graduation up the side of the bead there as well, side of the tree. And of course, I've chosen a traditional sort of tree color in this dark green that I had here. But again, you could make these in any sort of color in a Christmas tree form. And they're a really pretty little earring to be decorated, as I said, however you wanted to. So for these ones, I'm using this colored cup chain. Some of my others on the trees, and I'll pop them up and we'll have a good look at those. So we've got over to the left here, I've got alternating colours of the purple and yellow metallic beads. This tree here has some little tiny drop beads. So I think there's 2 and 3 mil drop beads in silver and gold. This one here has a matte and a metallic hot pink size 15 and size 11 bead. This one here has some size 8 beads as a little stop bead with a bronze on the top. This one is just a white and silver lined crisscross to look like tinsel. This one I made a little beaded star just to sit on the top of that one. So the little star is just a circle of 10 beads and then picots of 5 beads to make the star shape. This one here has got just some little fringing, so I just did 4 or 5 beads with the top size 15 to fringe it. This one here is the same as this one, but just a different color, so a metallic. This one is loops of red and bronze to create those garlands, and this one is the metallic 15s and 11s in the orange. So decorating the top of these little earring trees is the same concept in making different patterns. So here I am again at the end here, so I'm going to come up through my end bead, and remember I did that really clever little stitch at the end. I'll just go through that one more time. It just sorry, not at the end, at the start, just to hold that end brick stitch piece in place. So again, I pick up 2 beads, but before I do that, I'm just going to go through that first thread bridge there and just loop through a knot on there so that my thread is coming out of the thread bridge and not out of the bead. Pick up 2 beads, go through the next thread bridge, like that. And when I come back up through, it just holds those nicely in place. So I'll keep repeating those. So fun little projects for Christmas time. As I said, there's a couple of tutorials that are on my Etsy store. There's the Christmas bell using a Nespresso coffee pod, and I actually have put a little bell on the inside of mine so it does make a ringing sound. And of course the carrier beads are a great fun project to actually do and create some Christmas designs for use in a range of different things. But last year when I did this Christmas session, I'll just show a couple of those projects that I did. These were the baubles that I did last year. So I did some lattice stitch and then just finish those off with different beads on the corners and some Monties to hold those and just put rings on the top of that. So that's another great project, and that YouTube video is up on my channel as well if you wanted to see that one. I also did some fringing on some top of some bells, so some Christmas bells, which is another really nice one. And then there is sort of the snowflakes that I did earlier this year as well, so another nice decoration with just the Rivoli center on it too. So there are fun things you can make throughout the year in preparation for Christmas. And of course the other fun one to bead is the stars, and I showed the photo a little bit earlier of my wooden Christmas tree that has my stars on it, and that is actually my Christmas tree that I am using at home this year. So it's lovely just to be able to take it out of the bead room and put it up in the lounge room, and then my Christmas tree is done for the year. Okay, so here I am at the end again. So I've done 8 beads across. And again, I'm just going to do that cheeky little thread bead bridge pass through at the start of my brick stitch so that I'm coming out of the thread and not out of the bead, and repeat that again. So this time I'm doing 7 beads across. So it is a little bit boring watching me do this, but this is the nature of building a base to be able to do all the fun decorations on, and using up little tiny bits of cup chain in the colours is a fun way to decorate this tree. So I'll keep working with this. So other people, have you got other ideas of what you'd like to see me do in demonstrations next year? I've got my 6 design in the flies are already booked with different color challenges, which they're always really fun to do because I never know what beads I'm going to be getting and designing with. And then there's some other really good concept colors as well, and concepts around building over forms. So I'm going to be doing some demonstration of how to build a bead around things. I'm going to do a session all about triangles, so triangle beads, beading triangle shapes, building on triangles, and there'll be some other really good things for On a String next year, including a couple of free bead alongs that I'm going to be hosting on Zoom. They'll be once a month for 3 months on a particular project. And I've got 3 projects in mind. And the first one that I'll be launching will be doing a bead along of a kaleidocycle. So these sessions will be free for people to come along and bead. And it won't be just me talking all the time. You'll be able to join in, and they'll be on Zoom. They will be limited to probably about 15 people. So watch out for those and make sure that you register and get on when I'm going to be doing them. They're generally, the first one I'm going to be doing on a Sunday, and it'll be a couple of hours on a Sunday morning so that you can still have the rest of your weekend and do things. But I'm looking forward to doing some interactive bead alongs with people who love to bead like I do, and we'll bead along together. And for those bead alongs, you do not need kits. You can just use your own beads to do the project. So the first one, as I said, will be a kaleidocycle, and that will be launching in February next year for 3 months. So I hope people are excited to see this new calendar of things that I'm going to be doing next year, including some more in-person teaching from On a String, and of course my regular spots that I teach at as well, the Sunshine Beaders and the Whimsical Bead, to name a few. So I'm excited to see what 2025 brings in beading world. And I've got another big project that I've been working on that I'm not quite ready to show yet, but it's been in the wind for a little while, probably about 3 years, as a fabulous resource for beaders. And my 2 brothers have been helping me design and build this. So they're both very technical, and they've designed a fantastic resource, and I can't wait to share that with people once I've done a few more testings of my prototype. But great tool for people, based around my years of beading and knowing what I like to work with, particularly for traveling and beading. And I hope that you guys will really enjoy seeing this launch next year as well. So there's a bit of a teaser for you of what I've got going on in the On a String world. Okay, so that's 4 done now. So you can see there the tree is nearly done. Couple more rows. So again, I'm still doing that little locking cheating stitch at the start so that my thread is coming out of the thread bridge and not out of the bead. And when we add the last bead on, that one we will do in a different orientation, and there's a reason why we're going to do that. So the little star bead that I'm using at the top of this, years ago, when we used to go to Bead and Button Show, there was always a bag of Swarovski crystals that they gave you at the door, which was always fun to get those. And these little tiny star beads were in that. So I think I've got 4 of them here, and I thought, oh, they're perfect for the top of these little Christmas earrings. Okay, so I just want to sort of straighten up that one there. So there's my tree with 2 beads left at the top, and now I just want to add on the top bead onto this as well. So I'll grab another hex bead, But I'm actually just going to go directly through the base bead so that the hex bead turns on its side. So you can see there's the lovely big hole there, which we will be utilising. So this is a really fun way now to add on our little star and a loop. So we're going to do both at the same time. So when you have a look at this earring here, you can see there I've got the loop at the back to hold the wire onto, and I've also got the star on the front of that. So I'm going to use that bead that I've just popped on the opposite direction and add both the star and the loop onto those. So the little star is just here, and it's got a hole that goes through, just off a point and then through the center part there as well. So what I'm going to do is just come back through my nice hex bead that is here, and I'm just going to bead through that star and add that to what I'm calling the front of my earring. So it's actually just going to sit on top of that hex bead, just there, like that. See that? Just go through that a couple of times, just so that it's nice and secure. Now, what I'm going to do next is actually run a loop over the top, which will be the loop for hooking the earring onto. So again, I'm using the hex bead there to pop that earring loop on, and I'll grab some gold beads. So I think I put maybe 8 beads. So I want to be coming out of the hex bead here. So out of the hex bead, and just pick up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just go through that hex bead again. You can see there I've now got a nice little loop at the back of that earring. Just go through that a couple of times just to make that secure. So that will add the hook on once it's nice and secure. So there you go. That could be almost once we put the trunk on, but it'd be lovely just to have a little bit more cup chain. So I'm going to get rid of my tail thread there because that's no longer needed. And the beauty of, as I said, of these hex beads is the profile's not flat. So they also, of course, have these particular ones have a nice coating on them. So they shine and glisten as well. Really, really pretty. All right, now let's go through. I'm just going to bring my needle all the way down to the bottom so that we can add the little bottom fringe and the trunk onto this tree. So the trunk, I looked through my bead stash and looking for sort of a squarish bead, and then I saw the nib beads and I thought, oh, that's perfect. That's going to work really well here. So you can see here on the base I've got some little gold fringe just at the bottom, and then that nib bead trunk. So let's pop on the little fringe. So I'm coming out of a hex bead at the bottom there, and I'm just going to add on a size 15 bead. I'll just go through that thread bridge there. 1, 2, I just had a panic that I'd counted 9 instead of 10 rows, but no, there's definitely 10. 3, 4. Now we're going to add on the little trunk. So the trunk, as I said, is a nib bead. So the nib bead has 2 holes on the sides, and it sort of looks a little bit like a tooth. So I'm just going to then go through the hole there. Actually, before I do that, let me just maneuver my needle to come out of the right spot. I want to be coming out of a hex bead. So I'm just moving to come out of the 5th hex bead along. I'll go through my nib bead and then come back up through the 6th or the 5th, whichever, the ones that are next to one another. Now the hex bead, as you can see, it's a little bit loose. It doesn't sit flat because it's not a square bead. So to counteract that, I'm just going to add some size 11 beads on either side of it, and that will hold it in place. So I've got here some nice little bronzy sort of coloured ones that will match that little trunk. So the first thing I'm doing is just picking up 2 size 11 beads, going back through the nib bead, 2 size 11 beads, and going back up through that 5 and 6 beads at the base of my trunk there. And all of a sudden now that nib bead starts to sit flat because it's got these little 11s that just will hold it in place. I'm going to come back down now through the hex and then 2 of the nib beads. Sorry, the hex and the 2 11 beads. Remember the nib has 2 holes in it. So to finish that off, I'll pick up another 2 size 11 beads, go through the nib bead at the bottom hole, pick up another 2 size 11 beads and come up through the 2 11s here and through the hex bead at the base. So did I pick up 2 then? Or only 1? Only 1. Okay, let me just undo, reverse bead that. Sorry, I'm just going to have to undo that because I didn't do 2, I only did 1. So you can see now the nib bead doesn't move. It sits there really nicely and it looks good as a trunk on the tree. So use beads that you've already got. You don't have to buy things. You can adapt, you know, it's like a crystal, small square crystal bead would work. As I said, the nib bead, a triangle bead, you could probably adapt to work too. So always think at how to use something that's already in your bead stash. And all of these beads that I'm using in this project, I had at home. I did not have to buy anything to make these. So there you go, there's my trunk sitting really nicely now. So what I want to do is be coming out of the next thread bridge over here to be able to continue that little gold fringing at the bottom. I'm just going to have to just got to maneuver my needle around to make sure I'm coming out of the right spot, not out of there. So just a matter of being in the right spot to do that. So again, I pick up 1 bead and go through the thread bridge. And this was the very first row that we did, so it's always a little bit firmer. And I'm just going to add on 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go, there's the trunk and that little triangle, the trunk with the nib bead, a little bit of fringing. And now we get to add the fun part, which is the cup chain. So I pre-cut some little tiny pieces of cup chain. And this is all, some of this has come from Cranberry. I don't know where else I've gotten it from, but I've just got some, I think I picked 7 of the pink. Now the challenge will be, do I try and make them exactly the same or do I go random? So if I want to try and make them the same, I would need the pink to go here like that. I need the blue to sort of go there. I need the green to go there, and I need the yellow to go there. So that means that they're sort of opposite in the way that the trees look. So what do you think? That's probably what I need to do, I reckon. So let's pop the pink one on first. So that I'm not going to be too exact, only because that's not me. But I sort of know where I want to place them. So again, this is where the hex beads come into their own with these lovely big holes. And of course the cup chain has that little bridge that sits between it. So you can just utilize the big hole and go over that tiny little cup chain thread. So I'm just going to make a biggish sort of loop and then hold that cup chain so that it's just gently pull my thread. And there I've sort of attached the first part of that cup chain there on the earring. So I just want to place that so it's, you know, it looks a bit like a garland. Now you can just sort of stitch through anywhere on that earring base, or you can use the holes of the hex bead to hold that in place. And because I'm using the dark smoke fire line, you actually can't see that if I use it as a, if I use a brick stitch base as a fabric, which is what I'm actually doing. And I'm just sort of poking my needle through to grab onto those little bridges between the cup chain. Or I can use the holes within the hex beads. So really good foundation to actually just sort of bead through. And you just got to be gentle when you pull down and try and hold it so that it doesn't catch in the claws of the cup chain setting. So I'm just gently maneuvering my needle to come around and grab anywhere onto. So you can see there that piece is nearly stitched down. That's not too bad. It's a bit curvier, but still in the right opposite placement. And I'm just going to maneuver. So just taking advantage of those lovely big hex beads enables me to capture that cup chain really quickly and easily. Cup chain can be a pain to work with at times as well, so this is little pieces is pretty easy to work with. I've just looped that through, loop that there, and just hold that in place while I pull that nice and tight. And of course you can actually move it around as well because it's got that bit of flex in the cup chain. So there's one piece added. So the next piece is a little bit of green that's sitting sort of next to it like that. So I'll stitch that on again. Again, just, you know, utilizing the thread and drawing that down onto the cup chain, treating the brick stitch beads as fabric. Come on, cooperate. There it is. Just got to be a little bit forceful getting it through that beadwork, but it does work. And then that loop will just hold that in place there. So there's a bit of green. Okay, so now we want some blue, and the blue sort of sits underneath there like that, I think. Yep, that'll do. So what do we think of these earrings? Do you like this idea? Really simple way to have a little bit of sparkle, make something that looks like a tree, and use up beads that you've already got. So as I said, some of the beads that I pulled out to do this were things I've had for a long time. So some of those triangles and hex beads and nib beads, don't have to buy new stuff all the time. And then I'll just pop that little bit of blue on there as well. The cup chain's good how it can curve too. You can get it to move around because of that, the links that are in it. Gives you a bit of flex with moving it around too. So it's great for putting around cabochons and all sorts of things. And of course the sparkle that you get from your cup chain is something that not a lot of other beads give to you immediately, but this gives you a bit of a gratuitous straight up thrill with the shine and sparkle on it. So it is fun to work with, and particularly these coloured cup chains that the setting is a colour as well is really nice. It's nice and sparkly to have that. So you can see I'm just sort of using biggish loops and grabbing the cup chain and holding it in place like that. And then the last one is a little bit of yellow up at the side here, so I can maneuver through the back, just through the holes of my earring here. Oh, thanks, Debbie. Debbie's sitting at the airport. That's lovely of you to spend some time watching this too. And I hope you enjoyed Melbourne. We've had some lovely, nice warm weather the last few days. It's been beautiful, but I think it's going to be 41 or something on Monday, which is probably a bit too hot. Okay, there's my 3 bits of cup chain, and now I'm just going to add that bit of yellow on. So again, I've used the holes there. The yellow is just going to sit nicely there. Do a couple of loops through my beadwork like this. You could do any sort of decoration you wanted on these earrings. And look at that. There's my lovely Christmas sparkly tree earrings. So I'm just going to finish that thread off here. Just, a couple of thread paths through, a couple of half knots like that. Finish my thread off. Add an earring wire. That earring wire sits in between that star and loop there. And look at those. I think they're really cute. So very, very happy with those Christmas tree earrings. So there we go. That's 3 pairs of earrings that I've shown you today that are all Christmas related that you can use with things that you've got in your stash. So beaded charms and hooks, little pearl cabochons and beaded charms as well. So there's 3 really fun pairs of earrings, which is really, really nice. But let's get into the bauble. So as I said earlier, Christmas baubles was something I'd never really made before. And then one of the first ones I did last year was my challenge that I did at Christmas time was using a bauble. And that's actually hanging on my door over there. And so this year I decided that I would make one that is multicolored. So I've used 6mm cabs here, these little 2-hole 6mm beads. And then I've matched it with metallic colours as well, and then just done some sort of finishing off netting. It's basically a netting technique. I've then removed the crappy hook, this silvery ribbon thing that they have. I've taken that off, made a nice beaded loop for that as well, and now I have a rainbow bauble. So let's have a go at making this. I literally made this up as I was beading the other night, so let's see if I can repeat it. It may not be exactly the same, but hopefully it's pretty similar. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut off this crappy silver ribbon. This is one of the ones off my Christmas tree, so I don't know the size. I wonder whether my ruler will help me with that. Oh, look at that. Good way to measure it. Fits straight into the hole of that ruler there. So it's a 40 centimetre bauble. Good way to measure. 40 centimetre bauble. And I'm using, let me get those beads out now. I'm using some 6mm cabs. And then, of course, I've got all of the size 11 beads. This only uses size 11s. I didn't use any other size seed bead, but they are there in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 colours to match the 8 different coloured 6mm that I have, and I've also just got a 4mm round that I've used with this as well. So really, as I said, beads that I already had in my stash here. The bead board will no doubt look completely messy by the time I'm finished because that's how I work, but I've then just got these 4mm silver beads to go with that. And in terms of colours, it really was what I had in my stash. And each one of these strips uses 4 of the colour 6mm, and these are just the little 6mm cab that have the 2 holes in it. So let's just grab out 4 of each colour. So there's 4 of that aqua-y sort of colour. 4 yellow. 4 silver. 1, 2, 3, 4. For pink, 1, 2, 3, 4, and oh, have I got 4 lavender? No, I haven't. I'll have to find another colour. Is that a lavender? Okay. Well, that's going to trick me. I'll need to go and find another colour instead of the lavender because I've only got 2 of them. Okay. I didn't plan that very well. For green, could use that khaki, but it's not the same. It's not nice as the others. For red, or orange, orangey red, 4 of the petrol sort of colour, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's see what other colour I've got there. I'm sure I've got another colour that I can swap out the lavender with, or I might even have more in this box over here anyway. In the right box, there we are. Okay, let's see what other colour I have in those. Oh, I have this nice orangey colour. I have some purple ones here, but they've got the rose on them, and I don't really want them to have that rose cut out on them. There's a couple of pale pink ones in there though. They've got the rose on them as well. There's a bronzy colour. Oh, there's a gold. Actually, I think I'll use the gold. That'll work. Gold. Not going to use black. I've got more of that blue, but I'm already using that. Okay. Gold is what I'm going to be using. Okay. So that means I need to swap out my lavender beads for gold, but that's okay. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the gold. Okay, so there's my beads that I'm using as the base for my colours. I'm just going to swap that lavender for gold. Look at that. We're back in action now. So the way that I started this was with my needle and thread, and I just used a some fire line, and I literally popped a silver in between each of the top beads here and made that ring to go around the top. So let's do that. I didn't think about colours or placement when I did it, other than I tried not to have 2 colours that were too similar right next to one another. But I don't think it really matters. I mean, that's a design element, not necessarily not going to make or break the design, I suppose, but wouldn't necessarily have, you know, pink and purple right next to each other, or blue and green. But I didn't really think about it too much. I just popped them on and then went from there. Okay, yellow and silver. So there's my 8 beads in a ring. I'll just move them out of the way. And I'll pop one on. I've got a silver on the end. So now I'm just going to tie that into a knot. So a loose-ish sort of knot. The beauty of using one of these silver baubles and the silver beads is it all blends. It becomes a really nice mirrored sort of look when you put it all together. So just tie that into a ring. So I've got this sort of loose-ish ring there that's going to sit over the top of the bauble like that. You can see there, it just fits nicely. 8 beads is a perfect count to have that over the top of the bauble. Okay, what I want to do next is just think about some netting. So what did I do? I moved my needle. Don't you love how I'm designing this as I go? Okay, moved my needle. So the beauty of these 2-hole beads is I'm just moving the needle to come out of the next bead. And I know what I did. I picked up a silver bead. This is when I'm going to start to get messy now, because I'm going to have to pop out all these colours of seed beads. Okay, pop that back on there. Oops. I'm coming out of a silver. So I'm going to pick up a silver bead, a 4mm, and a yellow bead. And then I'm going to go through the yellow bead like that. So this is how I'm starting to build those colour stripes down the side of my piece. Some aqua. So this time I'll pick up a yellow bead, a 4mm, and then an aqua, and go through the aqua bead like that. And what that does, because I'm going through the second bead and I'm adding the 4mm, it starts to create these netting points down the side of my piece. Okay. This time pick up a blue, silver, and then a pink. And with netting like this, having odd beads in your net is the way that you start to then build out the width of that. And odd beads mean that you will be using the center bead all the time of the previous nets to join your bauble, your netting pieces together. Let's pop out some green. It's going to keep coming off the bauble until you get near the bottom of it. And that's just the nature of working in the round shape. I'm just getting out all the colours now so that I don't have to keep stopping. Look at that beautiful rainbow. Should be taking a picture of it looking relatively neat because it's not going to last. Okay, now I'm coming out of pink, so I'll pick up a pink, a silver and a green, and then go through the green bead, a green, silver and gold. This would also look really nice in monochrome colours as well. You know, you could do alternating black and white or black and silver on this. I think it would look really nice. I did think about doing that before today, but I just haven't had time. But this sort of technique, you could use any sort of colours to create this striped effect. Orange, silver and blue, or petrol, silver, and then silver. And here I am, and I'm back to the start. So there's the top of my net over the bauble. Now, the way to continue to move down the sides is to come back through the next bead, so using that center bead. So the center bead in this circumstance is the silver bead. Now what I want to do is create a little sort of loop underneath. So again, I'll pick up an odd number of beads, so 5 of the yellow bead to go underneath like that. 5 of the blue, odd beads, and then this is not a split colorway, this is the straight colorway that goes underneath. 5 of the pink, five green, now who's inspired to go and make some Christmas tree earrings now using that brick stitch pattern? Love to see some people make some and pop them into the On a String group. Let me know if you get around to making any. Great idea, Anita, using double-sided tape. I should have thought of that. I've used that plenty of times, and it is a good way to hold things in place when you are working with a round object. So you can see there I've just done the first row of size 5s. Now, what I'm going to do is come through the next center bead here. Center bead on that row of 11, and my color and my starting place will move every time. Okay, so my next thing to think about is I'm wanting to add in some yellow, and I think I need a silver. Pretty sure I need a silver, yep, and then some blue. So if I pick up maybe, I think it's 3 yellow, 1, 2, 3, 1 silver, and then 3 blue. And then I'm going to go through the next center bead in the blue over here. Yep, that's right. So this time I'll pick up 1, 2, 3 blue, 1 silver, and then 3 pink. So this again is when I'm splitting the color. I'll come up through the center pink bead like that, except I need to put another thread on. So let's do that because I've just run that thread. And again, the beauty of using fire line, I can join this thread very, very easily. So I'll just cut a new piece. find my trusty cigarette lighter to join this thread. So I'll just tie a loosish sort of loop on my new thread, find my working thread tail here, working thread, just tie those two together like that, get my lighter out. I like to give these a nice fresh haircut and just trim off those ends, grab the lighter, just sort of melt those two, not too much, together, and then just draw it closed, and then I've got a nice knot. Run my finger and thumb over that just to round it out, and there's my new thread already joined. So nice easy way, and you don't waste too much thread then as well. Okay, let's go back to where I was. So pick up 3 blue, 1 silver, and then 3 pink, 1 2 3, and then run through the next pink bead like that. And for those of you who play along with what did I bead or learn this week, I've got something really new to share this week. I did a basket weaving workshop. So I learned something new, and some of the techniques in basket weaving are very similar to beading. So I was a bit of a superstar at the basket weaving workshop we did, because I thought, oh, I know this stitch, I know this technique. Yeah, it was very similar to some bead embroidery stuff that we use. And as soon as she kept saying, I thought, oh yeah, I know what that is. Yep, I know how to do that. So that was my fun thing to learn this week, was how to do some basket weaving. We're lucky enough at work to go on with our Indigenous leader and do a cultural workshop on basket weaving. So yeah, it was good fun to spend some time learning something new and a different cultural experience. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I did make a very tiny basket, and I made a Christmas wreath sort of thing as well. So yeah, it was good fun. And then I did do some beading on top of the basket wreath, because I just like to add beads to things. But I will show that in the What Did I Bead or Learn this weekend, when that comes out on Sunday. So, or Monday, I think I do that. So please have a look at my basket weaving and share anything that you've learnt. Maybe someone will have learned how to make these earrings or bauble, and we'll share that. Would be fantastic. So you can see there, I'm just continuing that netting all the way around. So this is a split colour one, so I'm just picking up 3 and 3 and the silver bead, going through the center bead. And the secret with the netting is having the odd count. So there's always a center bead to net through, and building out those nets so that it's covering the circumference of this bauble. Literally a bauble out of my Christmas box. So again, something I didn't have to buy to do this project, using things that I already had in place. And I'm back to the start again. So then the next one I need to think about, there we go. So there's the top of it. Next one I'm going to come out of will be the silver bead, which is the center bead, like that. And this time I'm going to be adding a 6mm. But I need, because we're getting wider, I need to add a couple of beads to the side of the 6mm. So 2 or 1? 1 is what I've done. Okay, so I'll just pick up 1 blue, blue and blue, and then I'm going to go through the silver bead. Let's see if 1's enough. Yep. So you can see there now I'm starting to widen out that net by adding something either side of the 6mm. So this time it's a pink, pink and pink. Go through that center bead over here, like that. And then green, green and green. And gold, gold and gold. The other thing with doing, I've talked about the metal charms a lot as well. When you finish one of these baubles, you can hang the metal charm off it. Sometimes people like to put the year, the year that they've made it as well is another. You can buy little charms that have the years on them. You can hang them from the bottom of it too. So they're fun ways to decorate these pieces at Christmas time. Silver, silver, and silver. Yellow, yellow, and yellow. I should pick up everything then, including the scissors. Okay, back to the start again. So now you can see I've got 2 rows of my baubles there, or 6 mils. Now again, because these are 2-hole beads, I'm going to utilise that 2-hole and come back through. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction now. I'm coming back down through the bottom hole there on that 2-hole bead. And we're going to go the opposite way. So if I was using just one single large bead there, I wouldn't have to reverse, but you can do that easily with this. So I'm now going to pick up 2 blue, a silver, and then 2 yellow. And I'm going to go through the bottom hole then on the yellow piece. See that? So continue that. So yellow, silver, silver. I'm just building those walls of netting down the sides of this piece. So silver, silver, blue. Silver and gold, like that. Gold, silver, and green. And the tail, that's the tail thread underneath there somewhere. And look, realistically, I could just cut that off because it not doing anything anymore. Green, silver, and pink. Pink. And here I am back to the start again. So I'm going to go through that silver bead as my center bead for the next round of netting. Okay, now remember the one that goes underneath here is the big loop one, because that's where we're starting to create that cross of colours there as well. So this time I think I probably need 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to go across all that way over to there. Maybe it's 9. Might be 9. Let me check my one that I've done earlier. No, it is 7. Okay, 7. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So through the silver bead here. Yep. So it doesn't take long to do something like this either. It builds pretty quickly because of the mirrored bauble. It's okay for that to sort of shine through and be a feature of the piece as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So through the orange. And this row that I'm doing now will be the foundation for the next row of knitting. So again, there's 7 beads. There's a center bead because it's an odd number. Through here. and there, and I'm going to come through the center bead just here. So it's starting to build over the top of the bauble. When I draw that down, you'll see how the nets then start to form as well. So the next one that we want to do will have the silver bead in the middle. So 1, 2, I think it's 3, 4, 9. So it makes 9. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4 silver. And then I'm going to go through that center silver bead just there. Yep. So you can see how I'm just starting to build those nets, and they'll just all draw down over the top of this bauble. 9 or 5. 2. Here's one I prepared earlier. I think it might actually be 9. I think it's a bigger net this time than 7. Oh no, that is 9. Okay. Gosh, I'm losing track. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see that I have not written any of this down, that I am literally making this up. I'm glad you love this bauble, Penny. As I said, I had grand plans that I was going to do a monochromatic one, and I was thinking of you when I was planning it, and I just didn't get around to doing it. So the multicolored one I think is fabulous, and you know, particularly for pride and rainbow stuff, it's lovely as well. And I think a monochromatic one would be really nice too, with just the two sort of color stripes going opposite either side. So there's a challenge for someone to do one. Be a black and white or a lime and pink or something like that would be really nice. 5 silver. The really simple beads you use for this, nothing too fancy or too expensive either. And you'll notice that all of the seed beads I've used in this project, oh, I'm going to get rid of that tail thread because it's driving me nuts. All the seed beads I've used are metallic because I just think it goes really well with the rest of the project. So I have used all of the Duracoat beads in this because they just give off that really nice shine with it as well. So when you're thinking about bead selection for something, that's the theme of this, is that it's all sort of shiny and mirrored, I suppose, with the Duracoats and the silver bauble with the sort of the matte 6 mils. And when I was doing this, at this point I'm thinking, oh, I'm not sure this is actually going to work, but it does all draw down and come together. So bear with me while I get to that point of showing you, but it does. So there I am back to the start again on this bauble. And it's got that nice sort of building that over the top of it. And again, I'm going to come through my centre bead. So my centre bead is the silver bead here. And now I want to make these big sort of nets that, sorry, next one is actually adding in the next two hole bead. So this time I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 side beads. Pick up a silver, 1, 2, 3, 4, because I'm pretty much at the widest point of the bauble now. So that's where that nice deep net actually happens. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Orange. 2, 4. Just got to remember to get the right hole so that it's going in the right direction. So it's the top hole essentially, and that the 6 mil sitting in the right way. You'll know if it's not because it won't actually be hanging down like these ones are. Now, if you wanted to make this type of bauble where it's not filled in and it has some fringe, that I reckon you could adapt this to have be like just a dress on top of the ball, I suppose. And you could have fringe coming down as well from this. But I like the idea it's all covered up. Like that. That's a nice little blanket over the top of my bauble. Oh, that's only 3. Pink. And through the silver. It's not too messy, which, you know, not like me. Yellow, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need some more yellow beads out. 2, 3. And if anyone wants to know the colours of these beads, let me know, and I'll pop the colours that I've used as well. Really was just a matter of trying to match the bauble colours. Sorry, the 6mm cab colours as much as I could. But yeah, happy to share those colours if people are interested. Now again, I'm going to be coming through the bottom hole of my 6mm, so I'll just bring my needle through and I'm going to be reversing direction again. So again, I'm coming through that bottom hole and all of a sudden I'm now going the opposite way. So bringing that down over the top. So this time I think we'll add, because we're coming into the tightening it up again, so maybe 3 silver and a silver bead and then 3 yellow. We'll see what that fits like. And I'm going through the bottom hole. Yep, that'll work. And of course, you know, it's still not secure yet. It's still a dress, still coming off, but it will start to tighten possibly by the next round, I think. 1, 2, 3, because I'm coming around the ball now. So it starts to just naturally sit around it neatly. So 1, 2, 3, silver, pink. Like that. Oh, not green, not green. These are a beautiful gift as well. This is a really thoughtful present to give to somebody. There's, you know, some work gone into it. It's something that they're not going to be able to get at Kmart or Target or anywhere like that. It's a really unique present. So if you're making gifts for people, this is one that is a lovely gift to give to somebody. Okay. So as I start to draw that around, I can see that I won't be too far from it being nice and tight around this bauble. 1, 2, 3. And back to silver. And I'm going to come through the silver round as my center bead. Now again, this doesn't have to be, you know, super tight and super precise over this. It's just nice to have the colours shine through. This doesn't really move on the finished one. It's sitting, you know, firm by the time I get around to that bottom part here. but at the moment it's still loose, but it doesn't matter. Okay, now this time I think I might just do 5, because remember we're coming around the bottom. So I've just picked up 5 yellow. Yep, that's going to work. 5, or maybe is it 7? I think it might be 7, it's not 5. Okay, a couple more. So just want to make sure that it's not too thready or gappy there. So 7 this time. And I'm really just judging this each time as I'm adding on what the next row is. Oh, I just did 5 then, not 7, after I just talked about that. That's it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No one's here to remind me. 7 green. Gold. I need to get some more gold out. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4 gold. 7 orange. Blue. Now, as I said, there will be a free tutorial in the files. As soon as I finish this session, I will upload it for the winter snowflake earrings, or snowflake earrings. And I was just waiting on Nez to come back to me with a where the, I'll find them and I'll show you what I'm talking about, where the cabs came from. So I've got that detail and I'll put that in the tutorial. So these particular flower cabs that are the center of this earring, so that'll be in there, and that tutorial will be available for people later today. And that's my gift for you. You can create this component here, add a dangle or not, but that'll be available later today. So Merry Christmas, and I hope that you enjoy making those if you're part of the Honor String VIP group. Okay, so this time I need to do the half and half. So I think I might do 4 yellow, a silver, and then 4 blue. We'll see how that fits. 2, 3, 4, and go through the center bead here. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Silver. 1, 2, 3. That. Green. I'm getting to the point now where this is really going to tighten up over the base of this bauble. Four and silver. 1. I need some more orange. We're probably going to need some more thread in a minute as well. And silver. And lucky last, 4 silver and 4 yellow. Then through the center and then up through this center one here. So now this is getting to the real closing part of this. Okay, so I pull my nets down, I can see how much gap I'm going to have, and I think it's only going to be a 1 and a 1 and a 1 and through that center. Yep, so you can see there, that's really just tightened that and brought that net over the base. A 1, so I'm using the last of my 6 mils now. This beads up really quickly, it's not a long project. Like that. One, and 1. Yeah, my thread's going to give out on me any second. Gold, gold and gold. Just going to put that down and add a new thread. Where did I put my thread? There it is. Okay, so what are we thinking so far, people? Some great projects today. Really good Christmas themed things. I'm really happy with these designs, and I hope you are too. And I hope to see that some of you make some of these. Would be lovely to see that you have a go at the Christmas earrings, or the drops, or even the really simple ones with some metal charms as well. So there's really fun projects around for Christmas time. And I will, sorry, I just melted that a bit much then. There will be my Christmas tree cuff that I did teach earlier this year for the Bead Society. That'll be a class I'll teach later this year as well, or tutorial. I'm not sure what I'll do with that. So you will be able to make your own Christmas cuffs at some point. I just have to wait for a little while before I push that one out again, but that will come out again, so that people can get to make those for Christmas next year as well. But yeah, fun projects for Christmas time. My phone keeps dinging. I need to put it on silent. People are messaging me left, right and centre at the moment, and I'm busy. Come on. There it is. Okay. On the home stretch. So orange, orange and orange. Oh, I just pulled my knot right off. Good job. Okay. That's because I melted it too much. I was being lazy and not doing it properly. Do it again. Okay. Back to where I was. So orange, orange and orange. That's better. Except this time I put it through the wrong hole. See there, I put it through the bottom hole, not the top hole. This is what happens. You get to see me fix things as I go. Now, take a breath and redo this one. Rethread my needle. Okay, orange. Make sure I get it through the right hole this time. Orange and orange. Oh God, I did it wrong again. Gosh. How many of these things have I put on and I've managed to get that one wrong 3 times? All right, this time, put that down and go through the top hole, not the bottom hole. It's get me to practice my needle threading skills though, because I've had to rethread the needle every time. Hope you're beading along as you're watching me do that. I definitely am, Penny, coming up to Brisbane next year. So I just messaged Melissa the other day for Sunshine Beaders, and I've got 2 projects for you guys. One is launching for the first time, so excited to come up to Sunshine Beaders again and teach on their Wild Weekend of Beading. I think that's what it stands for. WWE weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that again this year. So, or next year, sorry, in 2025 in May. Oh, yay, I got it right this time. Only took me 4 goes. Okay, so blue, blue, and blue. I'm nearly at the end of this bauble, and then I'll show you the lovely neat way that this is sort of finished off. Silver, silver, and silver. And yellow, yellow, and yellow. And this will be another one where we will change directions because I'm going to use the bottom hole of the 6mm. So you can see there it's now nice and firm and wrapped around that bauble really nicely. I'm just going to change direction, go through that top hole, and we might just pop one more. Maybe not. No, I didn't pop any more on there. No more silver beads. Okay, so this time I'm going to do a silver, sorry, a blue. What have I done there? Oh, I know what I did. Okay, so blue, I'm only just picking up 2 beads, a blue and a yellow. And I'm just going to go through the next bead, the next 2 hole. And so see, I've got that sort of colour split there now happening with the 2 beads in between. The next one is yellow and silver. So going through that. And that, so you can see there's just the 2 colours, so that we've got the right colour next to the right bead through the blue. And it's really just a matter of sizing and spacing to get this to sit tight, that's all. How many beads you need in between each of these nets. Like that. Orange and gold. Like that. Gold and green. Green and pink. Pink and blue. Okay. All right, so that's now nice and tight over that bauble. And what I want to do now is just fill in this base here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up through next to a particular colour. It doesn't really matter which one. Now I'm going to pop 3 silver beads over that silver bead. And I'm going to come up through those 2 beads there added in the previous round. And those 3 just sit over the edge of the 6mm like that. So 1, 2, 3 blue. And I'm going to go through the 2. 3 orange. And then through the 2. I'm just finishing off this bauble really neatly at the bottom. 3 gold. Green. I've got no more green beads out. Okay. It's not too messy for Paula. That's pretty good. 1, 2, 3. And 3 pink. 3 aqua. Yellow. Okay, so now you can see I've got this nice little 8-sided centre there. Centre of the base, with the beads all just around their relative colour baubles as well. So it looks really nice with just those beads just lining the centre. But I want to finish it. I want to make sure that it's full. So you can see on the one that I've completed that it's got this nice filled in part here. So we're going to do that with this now. So again, the centre bead is always what's the critical one. So I'm going to come up through the centre bead. And what did I do? Probably a bit more netting. Yeah. Okay, so this time I'm coming out through a silver. So I'm going to pick up, what am I going to pick up? 2, oh, what did I do here? That comes over the top. Oh, I know what I did. Okay, so I'm going to pick up 2 silver and 3 blue. So this is a little bit trickier this time. No, I'm not. Just ignore what I just said then. I'm just going to pick up 2 silver and 2 blue. So we'll be using 2 beads as a centre bead on the next round. Yep, that's it. Okay, so 2 orange, 2 gold, through the centre orange bead. No, not 2. 2 blue, 2 orange, through the centre orange bead. I'm just filling in the top, the base of this. Yeah, that's right. Might not be exactly the same as I did the other one, but it still gets the same concept. 2 orange, 2 gold, 2 gold, 2 green, 2 green, 2 pink, pink, 2 blue, 2 blue, 2 yellow, oh, Jade, that's just made me laugh so much. Thank you. Yes, maybe put your headphones on so people can't hear me say you don't have to buy anything. But of course, if you need it, you need it. You'll get no argument from me. But I do love being able to just go to my stash and think, yes, I can use this to make this. So it's always a nice feeling when you've actually got the bead already. Okay, so remember I added only 4 beads for this center, this round here. So I'm going to use 2 beads as a center bead this time. So I'm just going to pick up 1 bead and then I'm going to go through the 2. So this time I'm going through, I picked up a blue and I'm going to go through the blue and orange like that. And that will start to hold that in. Yep. Now I'm going to pick up 1 orange and I'm going to go through an orange and gold. This is slightly different to how I did the other bauble, but I think this makes a bit more sense. Yeah, that's better. So you can see there that's nice and neat now, the way that finishes that off. 1 gold and in between the green and the gold there. 1 green in between the green and the pink. 1 pink in between the pink and the blue. 1 blue in between the blue and the yellow. Come on. 1 yellow in between the yellow and silver. It's just finding the two beads for the center there. Like that. And 1 silver. And then we might just be able to close up the base of this bauble. 1 silver in between those 2. Just a bit tricky to get my needle in between those 2 there, but I want the silver and blue center beads. Come on. Yep, there it is. Okay. Now, if I just go through each of those center beads that I've just added, and if I draw those tight, will that make a nice circle? I think it should. So I'm just going through the previous round's beads, the singles that I added. Yes, slightly different finish to what I did on the other bauble, but no one's going to be comparing, so it's okay. And now I just draw that nice and tight, and I've now got the finish of my bauble base there as well. There you go. Now, look at that. 2 same but different. They're slightly different in colour because, as I said, I had lavender in this one, but I didn't have enough lavender, so I popped gold on, but I think it still looks just as effective. The little beaded strip that I've made here is just a string of multicoloured beads to hang this bauble from, so I'm not going to demonstrate that. You guys can work out how to do that one. So it's just a matter of a strip of beads in different colours and adding those on and just putting that through the loop, and that's ready to go. So that's the finish of my decorated Christmas bauble. Okay, let's flick over and have a look. So what do people think about all of the stuff that we've made here today for Christmas? I'm really excited to have shared all of these with you today. So you've got some fun projects that I'd love to see you make. You've got a beautiful bauble here with lovely rainbow colors, but use your imagination and, you know, come up with different colors on this, or monochrome, whatever, but it's just simple netting with 6 mils and size 11 beads. So, and a 40 mil bauble was what I used at the start of that. So I really love this project, and I've got 2 people in mind that will be getting one of these each at Christmas time. So a great rainbow bauble. The other projects that we've done here today are the little pearl drop earrings that have the snowflake drop on them. So I showed you a different way of actually attaching a metal component to these earrings. So using a beaded loop at the top and bottom and a right angle weave capture to actually capture that cab. And of course these little components can be used for lots of other things. So you could just make an earring without a dangle if you wanted to as well for those ones. These fun Christmas earrings. I'm going to out for dinner tonight, so I'm definitely wearing these ones tonight. So little Christmas trees with brick stitch with some cup chain, some sparkle, and the nib beads to create the trunk. So These are beautiful. Really, really happy with this one. And I'd love to see some people using beads out of their stash, Jay, to make these sorts of earrings. These are really fun. And of course, the simple ones, great for gifting. You know, you can make really pretty and unique earrings like this with metallic charms and little hooks and beads and things, and give those away. So really fun little pair of earrings as well. So really great projects from my Christmas session today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I really want to thank all of you, particularly if you've stayed all day today. That's fantastic. But you've come along to different sessions throughout the year. You give me some fantastic feedback on what 2025 is going to look like, and I did launch the calendar earlier. I'll put that up on the On a String page in the next day or so, so you'll get to see all of the Facebook Live sessions I've got for next year, along with things like Zoom sessions and in-person sessions from On a String and from different bead stores, teaching at events again, and lots of really exciting things happening in my space in the beading world next year. And I look forward to sharing that with you. And I wish everybody a really happy, safe, healthy and fun festive season. I know I can't wait. I've got a month off work, so imagine what's going to be happening in this bead room when I don't have to go to work every day. I'm really looking forward to that. But for you, your family, friends, loved ones, have a fabulous break. And I really look forward to seeing you in the new year at some form or another with On a String. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming along, and have a great Christmas. Bye for now.